Namaskar. I, Shambhavi, welcome you all to your channel Galactic Echoes. So let's start exploring the wisdom of Vedic astrology. So today we'll be doing a major video which was so much awaited on this channel, which is Saturn in all the houses of your D1 chart. That is your birth chart. How the Saturn's position in a particular house of your birth chart will manifest in your life, and it will lay a basic foundation of your profession, basically. Why? Because Saturn is the karaka of profession, it is karmesh. And as always, what new are we going to do today in this video? We will be judging the Saturn's placement in a particular trikon, whether it is in dharma, moksha, kam or earth trikon. We will figure it out, and how it will define the nature of your profession. Also, we'll talk about the aspects of Saturn, its third aspect, its seventh aspect, and its 10th aspect, how it is important from the professional perspective. Also, I'll give you my point of view on these aspects, how they are different. All the planets, especially Saturn and Jupiter, they move slowly and they are given special aspects, and how the Saturn's special aspects, it really unfolds the mysteries of your profession. We'll try to figure it out today. So let's start the video and let's dive in. Now, if you have Saturn placed in the first house of your horoscope of your birth chart, the major theme with this Saturn which you will see is extremes, the theme of extremities, that either it will give you two good results or it will give you two bad results, two negative results. Why? Because it is not a comfortable position for the Saturn, and if you as a native makes its work easier by aligning yourself with the Saturnish traits in your personality. Why? Because Lagna, the first house, is you, your personality. So if you are aligning with the Saturn's traits, its qualities, then it will help you and it will give you great results, good results out of this placement. So let's say if you have Saturn placed in the first house and you are more lazy, you are more into procrastination, you are more into not disciplined, you do not lead a disciplined life, then yes, it can give you challenges in your life. And on the other side, if you are more aligned towards this Saturn, that you are more disciplined, you are more hardworking, you are not into procrastination of everything in your life, you do it now and you do it in consistency, you do not break the pattern, then this Saturn is going to bestow you with great things in your life. So with this Saturn's placement in the first house, it is like a blessing that you can mold your life according to yourself, whether in the good direction or in the bad, that is totally up to you. Because Saturn is we are living in the age of Saturn and Rahu, and we must know this and we must understand this, that Saturn gives us full chance to do whatever we want to do, to make us prove ourselves. You see, that is the point I'm telling you. I won't deny that it is not in a very comfortable position. Yes, it is uncomfortable here in the first house, but then also the Saturn will not leave your hand. It will give challenges for your betterment. That is something which you should understand. Your fifth house will be very much dry. It will be quietly, like, you will feel that I want to do creativity, but something is stopping me. I want to have children, but something is stopping me. Maybe it's the fear, because Saturn also governs the fear, exhaustion, or procrastination, as I've already stated. So that is the thing, that the fifth house is dried up with this Saturn placed in the first house. Now it also suggests that you as a person, whoever you are, female or male, will have more girls in your life. It does not suggest that you will not be having any child. You will have a child, you'll be blessed with the girls. So this Saturn in the first house, it does not deny childbirth, but yes, it somehow dries up that area. It delays the karakas of the fifth house, which is children, creativity, love, interest also. The thing is that if this Saturn is retrograde, then major outcomes will change depending on the sign, and the planet is placed in your 12th house. So this is something which is peculiar with this Saturn. You should always keep in mind that you have to avoid laziness. You should have that spirit in yourself, that willpower in yourself, that I can do it, whatever are the circumstances, whatever are the challenges in front of me, I will conquer it. So this should be the going spirit in you. And with the Saturn in the first house, there has been cases that the people with this placement, with this particular placement, they uh, rebel against the traditions followed in their family. The senior people of their family, people who are senior in your family, basically the old people, your grandparents, or in some cases your parents, they are very firm on their traditions. They are stern on their beliefs. You are not revolting against them as personalities, but yes, you will have that kind of a rebellious nature in you with respect to the traditions, not to any particular person in your family. Sometimes, if this Saturn is not supported by the other planets in your chart and your Lagna lot, whatever particular ascendant you are in your birth chart, then with this placement of Saturn, you can feel that you are being misguided by your parents. This is really a major bone of contention between the child and parent relationship with this Saturn in the first house. But yes, if this Saturn is supported by your Lagna Lord, your whatever ascendant you are, and the other planets in the chart are not making this position for Saturn more uncomfortable, then this thing will be much less. You are very good at your heart. You are humble. You want to work towards downtrodden people. You understand the emotions, that you have that empathy, that empathetic kind of nature in yourself. So yes, this is a very good placement. It makes you humble. It makes you uh, more downtrodden with this placement. And one of the fact which is very interesting with the Saturn is that people with Saturn placed in the first house, they never, their first impression anywhere, it doesn't go well in any case. You will feel this, that I had this interview for this particular job opportunity, and my first impression or my first interview did not go well, but the second one was absolutely perfect. That is the scene which is regularly seen in your life with the Saturn's placement in the first house. Now we'll jump on to the major profession decoding with the techniques of the Saturn. How with this Saturn placed in the first house can indicate towards your profession, what kind of professions you can do. So see, first we'll talk about the nature of your profession. So the nature of your profession can be derived from the fact that Saturn is sitting in a dharma trikon. Now what is this dharma trikon? The dharma trikon is filled with the duties of responsibility, pride, creativity, authority yielding, and guiding people. All these activities, all these sort of taking charge of something, these things are seen with this Saturn in the first house. So the dharma trikon and the Saturn in the first house, it really lays and it indicates that the nature of your profession somewhere will be based on these things. That either you are in an authoritative position, you are in a kind of profession where in which you are constantly on the move. You have to do projects, and the projects are scattered all over the city or in the different states as well, that you are constantly moving from one place to another. This not suggests a transportation business, but you involved, constantly involved in transportation. This will be the nature of your profession. Now let's talk about the aspects of Saturn. What are the aspects of Saturn? So Saturn in the first house, it gives its third aspect to your third house. Now, what is the third aspect of Saturn? The third aspect of Saturn is all about the skills you need for your profession. The skills you either have or you have inherited over many past lives, or you will be learning in this lifetime of yours. So these are the skills which you should possess and which you will possess to make your livelihood. Your skills revolve around communication, technology, or building relations, or holding meetings, business meetings. Maybe you are in HR. You are making relations through communications. That is something which we'll see. Your colleagues are the driving force. The Mercurian traits will be present in you, and they are present in the way that they are comprising the skill of your profession. So, your jovial nature, your calculative prowess, your business acumen, also because Mercury is the Karaka of business. So, all these things are the skills. You must have been into business or stocks or calculation or accountancy, or anything related to TV, media, advertising, radio, all these things. Your skills revolve around all these things. Now, the seventh aspect of the Saturn will be on the seventh house of yours. So the seventh aspect of the Saturn is all about the desire and the desired goals in your profession. So you are desired to do these things to uplift your career, to boost your career. So what are these things? Making relations again, diplomacy, balancing out that you are friends with enemies, like person A is enemy to person B, and you are friends with both of them. That is the thing which you should learn, which is desired in your profession. So, this is something which you should do actually. Even if you are in a regular government job, still you should have these qualities in you. These qualities are desired by your Saturn, by your Karmesh, and it will give you good results. It can boost your professional front. It can boost your professional career. And the 10th aspect of the Saturn is on the 10th house. So the 10th aspect, it tells us about the hard work, the work where you have to put your hard work towards, the things which you should organize. So the first and the foremost thing with this Saturn is you should always organize your workplace. Whatever your workplace is, whatever your workspace is, whatever your desk is, you should completely organize it. It should not be clumsy. It should not be cluttered. You should declutter it. It should be neatly organized every time. You should do hard work towards building your public dignity. This is something which is important. Or whatever planets or whatever signs are in the 10th house, that will also play a major role. But these are the major bullet points which you should take into consideration with this Saturn. And as I've already said, you cannot be lazy. You should be hardworking. You should be consistent in whatever thing you do, so that the Saturn can give you can fetch maximum profits out of this Saturn's placement. So with this Saturn, we can also identify the pending karma in this life of yours. So what it can be. So Saturn's 10th aspect is on your 10th house. So your pending karma is all related to the 10th house, and 10th house is Karmsthan originally. So your Atmakaraka has signed up for this thing. For the pending karma of Saturn is whatever you do in your life, whatever karma you do by yourself will automatically will subtract that pending karma from the Saturn's account. This is something which you have to understand. Even if you are making noodles at 2 a.m. in the morning because you are feeling hungry, is ultimately subtracting your karma from this life of yours. So you have to, that is why I'm saying that you cannot do procrastination. So if your mind, if your brain says that you have to do this particular thing at this particular time or at this particular stage of your life, you should do it. You should do it anyhow. Don't think about if it would be perfect or not, if I would win or not, if I would lose or not. That should not be the thinking in you. If you have decided onto something that you have to do this particular thing, you should definitely do this. So this is where your Atma is leading towards. This is where your soul's journey is. Your pending karma is towards karma, towards your office, towards your livelihood, towards your profession, because 10th house is, in a very minute sense, is related to profession. In whatever activities your whole body is engaged in, even if you are running, even if you are breathing, even if you are telling something to someone, and you should do it. You should not procrastinate. Otherwise that pending karma will increase with procrastination. This is something which you have to understand. The activity, actually doing activity of any sort, is the success mantra for all of the natives having Saturn in the first house. So this is something which you should understand and which you should follow. So this is how we decode the placement of Saturn placed in the first house. So let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn placed in the second house of your birth chart. So when you have Saturn placed in the second house of your horoscope, with this thing, the first thing which comes to my mind is that about the inheritance. Inheritance is definite in your life. Now it will depend on the levels, how much you will get or how less you will get, and that will totally depend on the placement of the 8th lord and the 8th house. But Saturn gives you inheritance. Now it can also be an inherited talent which you get from your parents, or wealth, which can also be seen through the chart. There will be some kind of inheritance which will help you in this birth of yours, in this lifetime of yours, in some way. Property, home, vehicles, and prosperity, homely comfort, all of these things will be bestowed to you, but on the condition if you align yourself with the positive karakas of the Saturn. Now, what are the positive karakas of the Saturn? The positive karakas of the Saturn are hardworking, working with consistency, diligence, and not involving in any kind of addiction. That is, these all are the positive karakas of Saturn. So if you have a daily routine, if you consistently follow it, and if you are disciplined in your life and you are hardworking, so yes, the Saturn will bestow you with all the karakas of the fourth house: home, family, comfort, motherly love, nourishment, care, and everything which you can think of. You people find it very difficult to lie. You cannot lie easily, and if there are people who are spending so much time with you, or if they have spent a major chunk of their time with you, they will know what you are up to. That even if you try to lie to them, they will know directly in just a second that what you are telling or what you are suggesting, it really becomes very hard for you to lie. Because with this Saturn in the second house, you speak less, your speech is very much organized, it is reserved. You are a reserved speaker. Don't speak unnecessary things in public sphere or in general, and whenever you speak to the point. This is the kind of vibe people get from you. And when you try to lie, this is something which you find you can struggle in the area, because you can never bend your words according to the desired outcome you want, which is the art of lying. So you cannot lie, especially to the people who are with you since ages, or since lifetime, or since years, so many years. So this is something, a peculiar point with the Saturn's placement. There will be constant traveling. So either you do constant traveling in your lifetime up till the age of 32 years, or you will see ups and downs, constant ups and downs in your life. So to mitigate those challenges, it is easier for you to travel as much as you can. And with the Saturn placed in the second house, it is really important for you that if you are in a government job, then that's very good. And if you are not into a government job, then if you are into private setup of profession, so you should stick to one organization for a long time. Because if this Saturn is also the lord of your 12th house, or the Saturn's dispositor is placed in the 12th house, then frequent changes of the workplace or of the organizations you work in can lead to losses. So that is something which you can do to mitigate your losses on a whole in your life. Now, if your third house is not very well disposed, so this Saturn in the second house can give you problems or losses through your friends or your younger siblings also. You will feel that there is a constant cold war going in your family. Now, family does not mean you and your parents and your siblings and your spouse and your kids. The second house is all of a large huge family, which is basically khandan. And khandan is the Hindi word for your relatives. The circle which comprises you, your family and your relatives is the term which explains the word khandan. So you will see that there is constant cold war sort of a setting going in your family. So you people, you meet and you greet each other, but you know that they won't help you or you won't help them, and there is not that kind of supportive factor from their side or from yours as well, because you are into a constant state of a cold war. You should always look towards investing in vehicles, homes, real estate businesses, or food, kitchen, or restaurants, basically business related to rivers or waters, that can fetch you great profits if you invest in those things. Now let's jump onto the major karikas and the techniques which we will use to decode the placement of Saturn in the second house in relation to your profession. So let's start with the trikon system first. So here Saturn in the second house is placed in the earth trikon, and earth trikon is all about stability, is about the practical approach, is about the long life which you gain. The trikon system, it gives the nature of your profession. So in the nature of your profession will be very much technical, it will be calculative, or you will be somehow operating certain kind of a machine in your profession. There will be a heavy use of some kind of technology on a regular basis in your profession. So yes, Saturn in the second house or in the earth trikon, it largely indicates jobs or the professions which are in any way related to certain kind of a technology or machines or technical thing, technical team. You will be counted as a technical team of something. So this is a prominent feature with this Saturn placed in the second house. We'll talk about the aspects of the Saturn. So the aspects of the Saturn, they are all different and they all suggest a different tone to your profession. Like its third aspect is all about the skills you possess or you should possess for your profession. So the Saturn's third aspect in the second house will be on the fourth house of yours. So your acumen in real estate, which I have already stated, artistic ventures actually. You have to be creative, you have to be empathetic, you have to be nurturing, you have to be caring. All these qualities you should possess. They should like a skill. What can these be? See, I have seen people, they say to me that they find it very difficult when they have to talk to a person who is in an emotional state. So this is the thing which you should possess. You should understand the emotions of others. You should have that skill of understanding and manipulating the emotions of others. You should have that empathy in yourself, so that you forge a relation with someone at your professional front, and which is formed on the basis of nurturing, caring, and providing comfort, that sort of a thing, that people find solace in your company. This is the skill which you need and which you should have. That can really boost your profession. Let's say if you are an engineer, and you are constantly working on your computer, and you are a cervical patient, then also you should have these skills. You should have the colleagues in your office, at your workplace, who think and who believe that you care for them. You are the nurturing source in your workplace. You should have that public image. You should have that skills in you, so that you can portray yourself as this motherly figure at your workplace. Also, the Saturn's seventh aspect will be on the eighth house of yours. So the karakas of the eighth house are the themes which are desired by the Saturn for your livelihood. So what are these? Research, out of the box thinking, innovation, knowing and discussing about topics which are not oftenly discussed in open society, open world, that are taboo. These things are something which are desired by your Saturn. So if your Saturn is placed in the second house, and let's say if you are an engineer again, so you should be talking about these things. You should be taking the paths which were not taken until now. You should be headlessly, with aggression, pitching your idea, whatever it is. You should be headlessly, aggressively pitching it. You should have the qualities of the eighth house in yourself. These are desired by your Saturn, by your Karmesh. So this is something which you have to understand. And the 10th aspect of the Saturn is all about the hard work you have to put in to something. The Saturn's 10th aspect is on the 11th house in your case. So this Saturn wants you to diligently work in your social circle with your elder siblings if you have any, in your gains coming in. You have to be very much organized in all of these things. You have to be you have to keenly observe it. You have to diligently follow the trends, follow the success of your friends, of your social circle. You have to be present in your social circle. You have to make them organized, and they should be small. I must say this. If you have large social circles, then it can pose challenges. So maybe if you have social circles, I'm not telling you to cut them down. What I'm suggesting is that you should have a core group to yourself of 3 to 4 friends whom you trust blindly, and they trust you. Why? Because this Saturn is sitting in the second house, and as I've stated, you can see losses through friends or through younger siblings. So this is something you should build your relationship with your elder siblings to mitigate those challenges. You should build your trust and your relationship with 2 or 3, fewer friends in your large social circle, so that you can trust them and you can mitigate the challenges of the third house. Also, the Saturn is the karaka of karma, is karmesh. So it really suggests what are the pending karma of your life in this birth of yours. Your pending karma towards which your atma karaka is working in this lifetime is your 11th house, towards your social circle and your family, your speech, your face, your hoarded wealth are the things which will be fueling that 11th house. So as I've stated, that you should have fewer friends, and those fewer friends should be coming from the connections of your family. So like, let's say if your dad introduces you to someone or to a family, you know them since childhood, so that person should definitely be in your fewer circle, and it will really boost your profession. It is really a success mantra which I'm telling here right now, that the forces of the second house which have made your 11th house should really be present in your life, and you should diligently work with them. The elder sibling is a common being in both the houses. In your second house, he is also the member of your family, and he or she is also represented by the 11th house. So you should definitely have a good relationship with them. It will really mitigate major challenges of your life at your workplace. So let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn placed in the third house. So with Saturn placed in the third house of your horoscope, this Saturn, it really suggests that there will be constant coldness among yourself and your younger siblings, basically your younger sisters and your younger brothers. So there will be constant either misunderstanding, or you won't be conversing with each other regularly or oftenly. You would restrain yourself from talking to them, because the Saturn is the karmesh, as we all know, and the karmesh is in your third house of the birth chart. So you will have to show constant courage, parakram, in all the things you do in your life, to get going, to mitigate the challenges, to become successful in your life. Whatever you do, there will be this calling that you have to courageously face any particular situation. So this is something which you will see. Your profession or your karma, they'll be largely tied to short trips. And if not, if you are into a certain kind of a government job, or into a profession where all is needed is to sit, then you should get going. You should plan trips on the weekends regularly to get gains out of it, because that stagnation of your life will really pose serious challenges if you do not fulfill the karakas of Saturn, because Saturn is karmesh and karmesh is in your third house. So the third house karma, they should be highlighted in your life. The third house karma should be highlighted in your life, in your lifetime. You are often attracted to different religions, different philosophies, foreign religious practices as a whole. This is something important, that with this Saturn there will be this energy of luring which will be created in your lifetime, that you feel that you are more connected to those foreign connections or foreign religious beliefs. But this is the fact that You have to understand, you have to build that resilience and that patience in yourself, that you have to respect all the religions, but you should not at all abandon your in whatever you are born into. This is something which you have to understand, and this is the lesson which Saturn is trying to teach you, that even if you find other religions more logical, more aligning to your energies, you should not abandon your. Abandoning is actually converting to some other religion, and that is really, it can pose serious challenges in your life with this Saturn. So abandonment will really depend on the conversion, and if you are not going for the conversion, then it is all set. Even if you are not going into daily prayers of the church or of the whatever religion you follow, you are not regularly following precepts of your religion, that does not mean abandonment. It does not mean abandonment. So this is something which you should understand. You should respect all religions, but absolute conversion and absolute dissolution of your own religion will pose challenges in your life with this Saturn's placement. Do not find shortcuts to settle in abroad. This is something which you should understand, because this Saturn then can pose challenges in your, maybe your documents or in your visas or in your passport. Finding shortcuts to settle in abroad with this Saturn is ultimately putting you in danger, like donkey routes or those illegal pathways. And the next thing with the Saturn is that fortune in your life will be built slowly and steadily. So you won't win a lottery overnight. You won't run into a dying businessman overnight. This is something which you have to understand. You have to constantly put your efforts into whatever thing you are doing, and that constant efforts will surely build your empire. Fortune chasing should be slow and steady, and you should feel that level of satisfaction with the growth you are getting. You will get 1% growth every year, but that growth is sure in your case. You see, this is the difference. The discipline is actually more important than motivation in your life. Now let's jump on to the techniques about the Saturn and the profession. So as we all know, Saturn is the karmesh, right? It is the major karaka of our profession, of our livelihood in our lives. So the Saturn and its placement in a particular trikon, it indicates the nature of our profession. So in your case, Saturn is placed in the third house, and the third house, it falls in the Kam trikon. So Kam trikon is all about desires, fulfilling those desires, hopes, wishes, and all of these things. Now, the nature of your profession will be very unconventional. It will be very out of the box. You will be doing certain kind of a job which is not often talked about in society. Like even if you are an engineer, you will have a kind of expertise in some field which is not common, which is not regular. You see, which is unconventional, which is heard very less. Like even if you are an artist, you selecting into National Institute of Designing, which only have 30 seats. I don't know if the seats are increased by now or not. So majorly it has less seats all over India. So this is a kind of profession which you will see. Or the nature will be very much based on balancing, diplomacy, or consulting, talking to people one-on-one, not on a whole. You addressing a large group of people. It is actually the case of the Kam trikon, but when Rahu is involved. If Rahu is not involved with this Saturn, it will suggest that you are talking to people on a consulting basis. You are talking to them one-on-one. And if Rahu is involved with the Saturn, so yes, the nature of a profession can be that you are addressing a large group of people at a time. Or you can also be into commission based job, or you can also be into project based job. Your gains will be very much fluctuating. Either you get 5% of growth rate this month, and the next month it jumps to 12%. So this is something which you will see is it will be the nature of your job. Now we'll talk about the aspects of the Saturn. It are very important because all the aspects of Saturn, they define a different thing related to your profession. So the third aspect of the Saturn is all about the skills you have or you should possess to make your livelihood, to make your profession get going, to boost your professional front. So the third aspect of the Saturn, it falls on the fifth house in your case. So the fifth house karakas are the skills you should possess. So these are creativity, these are relationship with children, or your love interests, or authority yielding positions, or performing arts. These are the skills you will need to apply in your profession. So basically, maybe you are into a certain kind of a job which requires extreme confidence, and confidence, extreme confident speaking with people higher than yourself, with people in higher positions or in higher strata. You see, this kind of a setting, you will be required to be creative in your profession, think different every time, and think creative every time. These all are the skills which your profession will require you to possess. Also, with this Saturn place in the third house, I've seen people, whatever study they do in their undergraduate courses, or in their college, whatever they study, they follow the same kind of profession. They go into the profession related to that degree only, that particular degree only. So this is also a major thing with the Saturn, and this will really depend on the fifth house and the condition of the fifth house, fifth slot. But if both of these things, your fifth house is well disposed, so yes, you can expect this out of this placement of the Saturn. Now, the seventh aspect of the Saturn will be on the ninth house. So, the seventh aspect of Saturn is all about the desired things which Saturn wants you to develop in yourself, in your life, for your profession to grow into something big, into a big tree, right? So, what are these things? So, the desired qualities are of the righteousness, the morals, the guiding principles. So, you should be wisdomful, and you should be wisdomful up to the level that you guide other people, that you mentor other people, that you maintain a philosophy, religion of yourself, that you are having these beliefs and you are stern on them. Like if you are into any government job, even if, and you follow a particular kind of a method to solve a particular kind of a query, and then a fresher comes in your office and they say, sir, that is a very redundant method which you do. I think we should be going and we should be solving this query with this method, with this new method. So you should not deny them, you should not compete with them, you should act as a mentor, as a guide to them. You should tell them why this particular method, this new particular method will not work, why you have discarded it before, because you have been working since ages in that particular office. So this is something which you should understand with this Saturn's 7th aspect. And this Saturn's 10th aspect will be on the 12th house. So the 10th aspect is all about the organization, is all about the hard work, is all about the diligence you need to put in that particular area from where you can get major gains. So the 10th aspect on the 12th house suggests that your foreign connections, you have to diligently follow them. You have to diligently pursue your foreign connections at your workplace. You have to organize them very well, that you should know what are their needs, what are their wants, what are their likes and what are their dislikes. You should be very much organized in the files of your foreign connections or of your foreign clients. So this is something which you should understand. And if you get into a certain kind of profession which takes you away from your motherland, which transfers you to a new place, you should be very much diligent, you should be very much disciplined, you should work more and more, so that you can build that rapport of yourself at that new foreign place. So this is something which you should understand with the Saturn's 10th aspect, that all the hard work you have to put in is in the 12th house. You should diligently work in isolation. In case you are not transferred to a foreign place, so you should move towards isolation. You should fulfill those karakas so that you can get gains out of it. You should be also disciplined in performing charities. So like if you have a certain, you just decide a certain amount of money which you want to donate, and you set automatic transfer to that particular organization or that particular NGO. You have to consistently charity, or you have to consistently donate to a certain, to a particular organization, and a particular amount. So these are, these are the success mantras which I'm telling you, related to your profession. So you should note it down. Actually, these will really work, and they will work like magic. Saturn is also the karaka of, as I've said, profession, and it is also the karaka of karma. And the karma in human life, because we are in modern times, is very much connected to only profession. But we have to understand this, that the karma is all about all of the karma which we are here to do. Saturn is also the karaka of our pending karma, actually. And the pending karma is the thing for which our Atma Karaka has signed for, right? Whatever your Atma Karaka is, it doesn't matter. So your Atma Karaka has signed for that particular pending karma to subtract it from your account, from your soul's account, because this soul has been on the journey since ages. You don't know, and this lifetime is a blink of it. It is maybe one of the 1,000 lifetime you have been through, so that the life's misery can be negated, because Saturn is also the karaka of misery. Why is it the karaka of misery? Because we do not perform our pending karma. That is why it then contributing to the misery. The thing which you can do to lower your pending karma is, you have to constantly build relations to foreign people. You have to treat foreigners as your younger siblings or your younger friends, your friends group, your close friends group. Or you should be constantly on short trips in foreign lands. Like if you are living in Mumbai, and if you get transferred to Delhi because of your job, so you should be constantly traveling. You should be going to Agra watching Taj Mahal. You should be going to Ayodhya watching Ram Mandir. These are the things which you should do on all the weekends, and on every weekend actually. You should engage yourself into going on more and more short trips at foreign places, so that the pending karma could be subtracted actually. So your third house is actually, it will work towards lowering your pending karma, and your pending karma is stored in your 12th house. So spiritualism, actually isolation, and you doing spirituality in isolation. So the third house is also the house of propagation. So this is something important, that you propagate spiritualism, and you propagate it logically, because Saturn is not Jupiter. Understand this thing. Jupiter is a different planet, and Saturn is a different planet. So if Saturn is propagating something, the Saturn is the heart teacher, and Saturn is more logical, Saturn is more practical. So you have to propagate spiritualism on practical terms. This is something which you should do. If you are vouching on this fact that it is no need to go to a temple at 6 a.m. in the morning barefoot, if you are stating this, you should have a practical backing to it. So this is something which you should understand, and which you should constantly do to evolve your soul into a better being. So this is how we decode the placement of Saturn in the third house of your birth chart. Let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn placed in the fourth house of your horoscope. So when you'll have your Saturn placed in the fourth house of your birth chart, so the main thing and the major thing which you'll see with this placement is that you won't be able to have inheritance from your parents or from your forefathers. You will be inclined to make your own properties, and your vehicles, properties, and your home, your land. In any way, the prosperity, you have to do karma for it. And you do karma, you are working for some particular organization, or you are in a government job, whatever kind of job you are in, but then somehow you manage to buy a single land or a single property or a single home. From there your growth will start, and you will make 100 times more than your forefathers, than your father. You will make 50, 100 times greater than that. But it is important for you to make at least a single piece of land from your own, and from there you will see growth in all the aspects of your life, your professional, your personal, also in your this prosperity, which fourth house is the karaka of. Everywhere you will see rapid growth. This Saturn can also give you diseases in a young age, that you suffer from either some of the major diseases like jaundice, but then this Saturn will also give you immunity to fight from that disease and for your body to rejuvenate. Also, the sun, which is the karaka of vitality, plays a major role here. But if your Saturn is in the fourth house, and if the Saturn is combust in the fourth house, or sun is impacting this Saturn, then you will see that you break your bones in your young age very much, but as you grow older, those things, diseases and problems related to your health will decrease. Fourth house, the original lord of fourth house is moon, and Saturn is placed there. So you will see that you will not have a very sweet kind of relationship with your mother. Your mother will be there, she will be present throughout your life, she will support you, but she will always scold you. She would always try to discipline you, she will try to make you a better human being, and in the process she might hurt you also, and she might not know that my this gesture is hurting my child. That is why you will not have any sweet memories, like the relationship with your mother strains with this position of Saturn in the fourth house, because she is trying to be that tough teacher which Saturn is, and you will see that other people, your friends or your cousins, their moms are more liberal, and they are more adjusting rather than yours. She is more into disciplining you, and these kind of gestures she will show to you. And somewhere with this placement of Saturn in the fourth house, you will feel a lack of that sweetness in actually all the relationships you have in your life. Not the love relationships I'm talking about your relationship with your mother, with your father, your parents as whole, your spouse, your children, your friends, your siblings. You will feel that there is something lacking in all the relationships, and there is something I am at lesser than everyone else. So you will feel that your whole life. But the problem with the Saturn is that you won't accept it. You will say that because this, I don't know why it is happening, but it happens. Maybe I'm not lucky enough to have those perfect relationships in my life with everyone. But the problem is that you are not accepting the fact, you are not accepting the truth that maybe you are causing the problem. That is why every relationship of yours is suffering, or they are lacking at some point, or it can be because of others as well, that they are misunderstanding you. Now I should tell you something very important with the Saturn placed in the fourth house, that because you are having this kind of a placement where inheritances to you are very difficult, and if you get the inheritance, your growth will stop, and if you make your own properties, they will grow more and more. Same goes with the fact that if you did not get any of the properties of or any of the thing in inheritances, you should not give them away also. That you see people are there who are old enough and they are retired, and they think that it is my time to divide my property among all my children, because after me it is theirs. But you with the Saturn placement in the fourth house should not do it. Or there are people who don't have any family members to pass their wealth to, so what they do is they give it into charity. Now it does not mean in what stage of life you are deciding this, giving away the wealth in charity or donating a huge chunk of wealth from your pocket. You should not do it, because it will make your life difficult. So instead you should feel that I have built it, and this will definitely go to my children, but I won't give it to them now, and after me they can have it equally, they can have the share equally. Now I'm not saying that you should not safeguard your property. If you are in a dispute with someone, safeguarding it is totally different thing. It is seen from the sixth house. You should safeguard your properties, you should make it more legal, as much legal as you want. But the thing is that you distributing your wealth or your properties or your fourth house in any way to either to your children or in charity or donation should not be done in your case. And why am I saying this, that you should not do these things? You should not donate the hard earned money or the hard earned property or wealth you have created yourself to anyone. still you are alive. This is because of the fact that if you will do so, what will happen is the Saturn will be activated. And this Saturn, the core principles of Saturn are very much related to humble beginnings and humble endings is what represents Saturn. So this, if this Saturn will be activated, then you will be hand to mouth. Then if you donate your hard earned property and wealth to children, among your children, or into charity or donation, you will face bigger financial problems in your life, and you will be hand to mouth. This is something important you should understand. So it is better not to activate this Saturn. It is better not to activate this Saturn in any way, because if you will get inheritances from your parents, from your forefathers, then also this Saturn will be activated. Then the Saturn will stop your growth. You should not touch the Saturn at all. Also, with this Saturn, as I've already told you, in some case it gets activated somehow, and then the period of your struggle begins. And if you go through that struggle with resilience, with patience, with calm, then you will be able to reinstall yourself more powerful than before. You will be able to reclaim those possessions of yours, those lost wealth of yours, but you will be more powerful and you will be more stable this time. So basically, the people who have Saturn in their fourth house, you will see a period of inactivity in your career as well. There will be that period can be small, of days, of weeks, or even of months, or even of years as well, but that will totally depend on the position of Saturn in the D9, in the D1, and what other planets are doing with this Saturn, what kind of combination they are making in your chart. But basically, you will see a period of inactivation at your career front sometime in your life, and after that inactivation period ends, you will be reinstalled more powerful and more stable. Now let's jump onto the techniques of Saturn, about how to decode the profession, because Saturn is the karaka of karma, it is karmesh. So Saturn and its placement, it tells so many things in detail about their profession. So what do we have to see is, first of all, in which trikon Saturn is sitting. So your Saturn is sitting in the moksha trikon. In the trikon in which Saturn sits, it gives a nature to your profession. So the nature of your profession is that either you are in a anonymous shadowy work, that whatever you do and wherever you do, it is not known to people, first of all. Or it can also be any kind of profession in which you have to do the work, but you have to give credit to someone else, like ghost writing. They will have this kind of placement. Either their Saturn will be in the 4th, 8th, or 12th house. Also, your profession will demand quite isolation and peacefulness. You would be, into some kind of a profession which is done in silence, like libraries. You can also be a librarian, or you can work in big data systems where big servers are being installed and the data is being stored, and people working on those servers, they have to be quiet, they have to maintain that peace and quiet. Or you can also work in a museum, or you can also work in any kind of those places where isolation and peaceful silent environment is needed. Your profession will be in a constant transformation kind of a mode, that you will see constant transformation in your profession, that someday you are doing this, the other day you are doing something else. They constantly change their profession. Also, I must tell you that because your Saturn is placed in the 4th house, so the transformation for you will be more related to traveling and transportation, and not towards crisis situations. It won't be attached to those crisis situations very much, because in the 4th house, the themes of Chandrama will be, the moon will be the prevalent. So you will be more connected to either transportation or either transfer of something, maybe data transfer, maybe information transferring. If in case it is retrograde, then the things would take a very interesting turn. You would transform yourself in your profession. So with the Saturn retrograde in the 4th house, you can also be an actor. You would want to transform the ambience and the environment of your professional workplace. Now let's move on to the aspects of Saturn. See, the aspects of Saturn, they tell us three different things about our professional front, because there are three aspects of the Saturn. So the first aspect of the Saturn is the third aspect, right? The third aspect of the Saturn will fall upon your sixth house. So the third aspect is all about the skills and the tools you need to possess, or you should have in yourself to make your profession better. You should, with this Saturn in the fourth house, have ability to solve crisis situations, emergency situations. You should have that resilience in yourself. You should have good relations with your cousins and with your maternal relatives. You should have business acumen in yourself. You are in a government job. You should study all relations and making all new relations or ending some problematic ones, like a balance sheet. Like this person have this much of contacts, and they can produce me these results, and this person is they are having these much money contacts and they cannot produce anything from me, so maybe I can talk to them less. This kind of business acumen should be present in yourself. You should also have a knack to stick to your daily routine, to having a disciplined action at your workplace as well as at your home. This is very important. These are the skills. If you develop them, or if you have them and you regularly exercise them, they will accelerate the motion of your profession into a correct, better direction. Also, you can also have some legal knowledge about the laws of whatever land you are living in, or the legal process. What is the basic legal process of something attached to your profession? You should know that. Now the Saturn's seventh aspect will be on the 10th house, and the seventh aspect is all about the desired things at workplace. So Saturn wants you to do these things. The Saturn desires these things about the 10th house, so that your profession can get better. So the 10th house things will be: you maintain your public dignity with utmost dedication. You do not speak more or less. You have to be balanced at your workplace. You have to be very much active at your workplace. You have to be competitive. You should take lead at your workplace. You should not be that lethargic, lazy person at your workplace. This Saturn wants you to do these things. Now the Saturn's 10th aspect will be on the first house of your birth chart. So the 10th aspect is all about organizing and working hard towards something. So the 10th aspect, it shows working on the flaws of your personality, because the first house is not only about ourselves, it is also about our personality. So the Saturn wants you to mend problems in your personality, look into it, to introspect into it and find solutions to it. So this Saturn wants you to find these flaws and to solve it and to become a better person every day, either through reading books or learning through podcasts, listening to good interviews, or somehow you should increase your knowledge, and you should mend your personality towards a better human being. You should not stick to whatever you are doing since 20 years. You should regularly have exercise, you should regularly have meditation, you should regularly intermingle with people on a good basis. You should have good relations with them. So you should work on your personality. This is what Saturn wants, and this karma of yours, if you do so, will really reflect good results at your professional front. These are the success mantras I'm giving you. Actually, if you are not getting a promotion, or if you are not doing well at your work front, so the only thing is work on yourself, on your personality, and you will definitely get these things out of your professional front. Now let's talk about some important thing, that Saturn is also about a pending karma. Saturn, the placement of Saturn, it tells a lot about our pending karma, what our Atmakaraka has signed for. So your pending karma actually in this birth is your home, your mother, your family environment, your prosperity, your peace, should help you in building your personality. Now, this is the paradox. Till you do not find flaws in your personality, you will not have good relations in your family, and your family should pour into your personality. Now, this is the paradox. This is why I'm saying this. You see, this is a loop, this is a karmic loop. If your family will not support you, how will you become a good person? And your family has to support you to become a good person. And if you are not a good person, how will you support your family? This is something important you have to understand. So what you can do is, instead, your personality should be present in the fourth house, so that they can they can resource your first house, your personality. So if you will be present for them, if you will be respecting them, if you will be maintaining peace in your home, you will be maintaining security at your home, your children, your spouse, your parents will not feel insecure, then your personality will automatically grow into a better being, and the karma of Saturn will be fulfilled, and it will lower your pending karma. You will move towards in the direction of your Atmakaraka, and you will feel more fulfilled in your life. So this is something which you can do for this pending karma thing in your life, and your pending karma is all towards your mother, your home, your security building, and your personality. The first and the fourth house are the most important two houses in your life, in your this birth. Car you buy is actually, it will yield to your personality in some way, and if you get this car in inheritance, then again your growth will be stopped. So this is something which you have to take into consideration. You have to buy a car yourself, you have to buy a home yourself, and you do not have to give them in charity or in inheritance to even your children. You should not decide your inheritance, your will, till you are alive. You have to secure your home so that the people, they do not take advantage of your prosperity, but you have to secure that thing, but you do not have to distribute it among your children, because you have not got any inheritance, and you should not activate this Saturn anyhow. Getting an inheritance or distributing inheritance is the either of the way your Saturn will be activated. So you should not activate this Saturn if you want to grow. So this is something important you have to understand. So this is how we'll decode the placement of Saturn placed in the fourth house of your birth chart. Let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn in the fifth house. Now, if you have Saturn in the fifth house of your horoscope, the first and foremost thing is that you have high intelligence. Yes, this is apart from the fact that Saturn is not considered good in the fifth house, but it bestows you with good intelligence, and you have this knack of grasping to new topics or new subjects very fast. You can grasp and you can understand them quickly, and you will also have this sort of an intelligence that if someone guides you properly, you will be able to master that subject. Always with this Saturn in the fifth house, people around you, your parents, your siblings, or your friends even, they think that you are naive, you are so innocent, and you work on someone else's terms. You are so innocent that you won't be able to think beyond the fact, and you won't be able to comprehend the vices of this world. But the thing is that this is not so with the Saturn in the fifth house. And this paradox is created because of the Saturn. Saturn is masking your cleverness with intelligence, that because of the fact that this person, he was so karmat, he was so hardworking at his or her studies, because fifth house is studies, you see, it is a academic front. So that is why they won't be able to understand the cleverness of the other people. What the thing is, actually you are naive, you are innocent to your people, to your family members, to your relatives, but not to other people. Like if your relatives especially, or if anyone in your family tries to exploit you in any way, in thinking that you are naive, you won't leave them. There can be a 360-degree turn at your academic front. I have also seen people with the Saturn in the fifth house that they study for something and they professionally adopt something totally different. So this is a major characteristic with the Saturn placed in the fifth house. But it is all right. If the Saturn is retrograde, then these things will be enhanced, that you are collecting 3 to 4 degrees, not 4 but at least 2 to 3 degrees, but you are not adopting profession related to any of them, or it is completely a different thing. It will depend on what kind of facilities you get from your parents and at your home. And now if you are coming from an affluent family in your city, and you all have all the facilities and you have all the things at your uh, this proposal, then you will become lazy with the Saturn in the fifth house. You would not want to work hard. You would not want to work actively at any front in your life. But if with the Saturn you do not have all the facilities at your home in your childhood, if you see that your parents are they are not earning so much, so that I could buy everything of my choice, so that I could satiate my desires anytime I want, then you will be very much active. You would want to work hard, and you will work hard actually. You would actively participate in everything. You would actively participate in the class, not topper, but yes, you will be in the top 10 students in your class. You will be good in intelligence, in learning, in academics. That it will depend how your childhood was spent. Your fourth house, the condition of it, your second house, the condition of your second house, and then the Saturn will give you results based on those conditions. Let's say if you want to buy something in your adulthood at some point in your life, you don't have money, but still you will be able to manage it, and still you will be able to buy it. Actually, it does not depend on the fact that if you have money or not. You will constantly buy things. You will, somehow the money will be arranged from somewhere. Your things would not be stopped in any way. You buying anything or you wanted to invest in anything, it won't stop. There would be flow of income, or there would be flow of money somehow, so that you can buy whatever you want, so that you can expend wherever you want. You will exactly inherit what your parents had. Like, if let's say if your parents had so many loans on them, you will directly inherit that kind of a life. And if your parents were so much, they were prosperous and they had so many properties, you will directly inherit that. This inheritance is also indicated in the actions as well, that if your parents were humble, they were kind, you will also be humble and kind. And if they were clever, and if they were more towards, they were extrovert in their personality, then you will also be extrovert. So whatever your parents had physically, mentally, emotionally, you will directly inherit that in your life. Also, with the Saturn in the fifth house, your second attempt to everything, it will fetch you gains, it will fetch you success in your life, not the first attempt. This is the tried and trusted formula in everyone's life, with this placement of Saturn in the fifth house, that your second attempt is actually something which you should look forward to. The first, with the Saturn, actually, you should take this into consideration, that my first attempt is like a practice session, and the second attempt is the main thing. That is where you will get success and you will fetch your desired gains. Also, with the Saturn in the fifth house, these people, they they enjoy their own company. They don't want anyone. Actually, I have not seen people with the Saturn in the fifth house speaking too much, because they are in this habit of enjoying with themselves in isolation, and they don't want anyone's company. They don't want that chaos, or they don't want that large groups of friends. They are happy with themselves. With this Saturn in the fifth house, and if your seventh house is not damaged in any way, then you will have a very nurturing and caring and good bond with your spouse. You will nurture them, you will take care of them. You will be good people in marriage. You see, like, people who the other society, they praises. So these are the peoples with Saturn in the fifth house. They take care of their spouse in whatever gender they are, male or female. I'm talking about everyone. They will have that bond with their spouse, that good bond with their spouse. Your speech would be very straightforward with the Saturn in the fifth house, because Saturn is sitting in the trikon, and the trine houses, if filled by any planet, they directly impacts your personality. So you will be very much straightforward. And the next thing would be that it is a very important thing which I am telling you, and you should take note of it, that Do not sway in the emotions of your family members who are very close to you, because there is a risk of emotional blackmailing and you losing great chunk of something out of your life with this emotional blackmail, because you are emotional people. I'm not judging it from the moon's perspective, but I'm telling it from the Saturn, that you are emotional, and with this emotional blackmail, there is a risk that uh, you can lose a great chunk of something in your life. So this is important, that you should not sway in extreme emotions if they are being displayed by any family members of yours especially. Now let's jump on to decoding the Saturn with the profession. How the Saturn plays a major role in decoding our professional life, because Saturn is the karaka of profession, it is karmesh. So Saturn sitting in a particular trikon gives nature to our profession. So Saturn is sitting in your dharma trikon. Your profession will be some sort of authoritative leadership role or guidance, mentoring, that sort of qualities it will have. These things will be present in your professional life, that you are more authority oriented, or you have that post or that leadership quality which you have to implement on others. So with this Saturn, that is definite. Or you are a guide, or you are a mentor, or you are a preacher, or you are a teacher, or you are guiding people. So basically you will be at some high pedestal in your life with the Saturn. Now the aspects of the Saturn, they tell us three different things about the professional front. So the third aspect of the Saturn is all about the skills we have and we should develop for our profession to grow, and for a profession these skills are necessary. So the third aspect of the Saturn is falling on your 7th house. So diplomatic skills, relation building, and you negotiating prices at marketplace. These are the things which you should these are the skills which you should possess actually. Like negotiating prices at the marketplaces, that you should be well aware of your professional front, and what are the values of any particular product at your professional front. You should be very well aware of that, and you should have good relation building skills in you, and you should also have diplomacy, that you are friends with everyone. That sort of a thing you should always have in your life. These will be required at your professional front, or these will boost your growth in your professional front. Either of the way they'll be helpful. Now the seventh aspect of the Saturn is falling on your 11th house. So again, see, the seventh aspect is all about desire. Saturn is desiring all these things in you, in your personality, in your existence, that you should have these things so that your profession can grow and it can become better. So what you should have is, you should have a large social circle. You should work more in your social circle. You should have good people in your social circle. You should have good relations with your elder sibling, whoever they might be. Or if any particular planet is placed in the 11th house, that will also play its role. But majorly, your incoming gains should be very much organized, and they'll be more balanced, I should say. If you are signing a project which will fetch you some particular amount of rupees or dollars, you should break it down into more smaller forms, that I will take this money in the first month, this many in the second, this many in the third, so that your gains, incoming gains, are balanced and you are not getting a huge amount of money in just 1 month. These are the things which are desired by your Saturn for your professional growth. Now the 10th aspect of the Saturn is all about organization and working hard. So this 10th aspect of the Saturn is falling on your 2nd house. So your family, your face, your speech, and your hoarded wealth, these things should be very much organized. You should work hard for building these things. So you should work hard for building good hoarded wealth in your life. You should work hard for your face. Your face should have a glow on it. You should, so basically with the Saturn in the 5th house, you should definitely have a skincare routine. You should, with the Saturn in the 5th house, be organized and disciplined in your family, with them, in your family members. You should not speak very much. You should not speak very less. You should work hard on building your vocabulary. You should work hard on speaking to the point and straightforward. So these are the things which you should work on so that your professional front can grow. Now Saturn also tells us the pending karma. Whatever pending karma is associated in your life, in your this birth, which your Atmakaraka has signed for. So the Saturn and its 10th aspect is all about the pending karma thing. So the Saturn is sitting in your 5th house and the 10th aspect is on the 2nd house. So Saturn wants you to do creativity, to make love romances, or to raise your children well, so that they contribute in your 2nd house. They contribute in your speech, they contribute in your hoarded wealth, they contribute in your family life. So maybe if you are getting into a love relationship, you should try to convert it into a marriage, so that family member will come from the 5th house. If you are doing creativity, your creativity should be aimed at increasing your hoarding wealth. And if you are raising your children, you should raise them well. You should not use wrong words in front of them, and you should daily teach them more vocabulary, so that when they'll grow up, they will teach you more vocabulary and they will feed your 2nd house. So this is how you can lower your pending karma and you'll feel more fulfilled. These are the techniques which I am telling. These are actually the success mantra. These are really important. These are the practical remedies which you can do for your Saturn to get better. So this is how we decode the placement of Saturn in the 5th house. Let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn in the 6th house. So with this Saturn placed in the 6th house of your horoscope, first of all, you will have constant joint pains. You will have constant bone problem in your life. But even if you have these problems in your joints or in your bones, you will have a swift and speedy recovery in all the cases. There is no problem at all with your prosperity actually. You can take loans very quickly and you can pay them back very quickly. So these people with Saturn in their 6th house, they are bestowed with this kind of energy that they do take loan on themselves and they pay it back very quickly, because Saturn is a malefic energy and 6th house is a Dushtana house. So Saturn performs very well in this house. They are very much extravagant. Their expenditure is huge actually. With every incoming gain, with every incoming profit, their expenditure is somehow increased. This Saturn can also give you certain profits actually. It can also get you good gains out of lottery winning, or suddenly something comes and it gives you good profit and then it goes away. It is the same placement we are talking about. Your spouse with this placement of Saturn can be a bit ill. Either they'll be ill or they will be recovering from something, some trauma or some physical problem, but there will be this characteristic in them that they will feel ill or they will be ill in major portions of your life. This is really a major placement for a government job. So government job can also be, it can easily be achieved through this Saturn in the 6th house. People do not have to think very much about it, because the 6th house is also about competition and competitive exams. So Saturn here, it gives you that immense hard work which you can put in for winning that competition. So you people can perform very well in the competitive exams for getting a government job. Your father's business, if you get into that instead of any job, that will also be prosperous and you will perform very good in that. In any kind of daily disciplined work, you will be hardworking, you will be diligent and you will perform good. You should not do any kind of intoxication through any substance, be it alcohol or be it tobacco. Anyway, you should not do substance abuse or intoxication of any kind, because then all the things which I have told to you will go in the direct opposite direction. Because intoxication, laziness, these are the negative karakas of the Saturn, and if you will activate your Saturn that way, then yes, the things here can go wrong. Let me tell you something, that your younger siblings or your relatives can fight over inheritances. So you will face inheritance suit once in your life, but that will really depend on the condition of your 8th house and your 8th lord, how they are performing and what are the things. But with this Saturn in the 6th house, it is creating a good Shatru Hanta Yoga. So you will be able to conquer your enemies, you will win over them. But in specific cases of inheritances, it is important to look at your 8th house. It is very important to look at that. This Saturn in the 6th house, actually the remedy and the mantra for winning over your enemies is only one thing, that you should be more secretive. You should not reveal everything to everyone. Even if you are doing something, even if you are preparing for something, you should not tell it to your relatives. You should be more secretive about your work, about your karma, whatever karma you do actually in your life, relate to your profession, relate to your life, relate to your finances. You should not tell it to everyone. That can pose challenges if you reveal everything in your life. Your loss can also come from a woman, so be careful of that thing, because she can pose challenge in your life, a major challenge in your life. Now that can be in any form, like in the form of alimony or in the form of any dispute or anything. But the thing is that she will pose challenge in front of you, and you will have to fight that challenge. But you will win over that, because the enemies here, they are subdued at the end. But it is better if you maintain a distance and if you are cautious of these things in your life. But these things actually happen in a particular transit, and you have to check whole chart for that. Now if your chart is suggesting that things will not happen this way, then there is no need to worry about that. Now let's jump onto the techniques through which you can decode your profession and the specifications about your profession, because Saturn is the Karmesh. Saturn is the lord of the 10th house in the Kalpurusha's Kundali. It tells a lot about our profession. So the first and the foremost thing is, we have to check the trikon, in which trikon Saturn is sitting. Saturn is sitting in your earth trikon. So earth trikon, if Saturn sits here, the trikon gives a nature to your profession. So the nature of your profession will be very much technical, mechanical. You see, you will either be handling a huge machine, or you will be connected to technology in any way, or calculation. Mercurial traits will be there, that you are either calculating something, or technically analyzing something, or you are either operating a machine or a technology, or certain kind of a definite particular technology. All kind of engineers, technicians, the people who handle some kind of technology or machine can be seen from this placement of Saturn in the earth trikon in the 6th house. Now let's talk about the aspects of the Saturn. So the third aspect of the Saturn tells us about the skills you should have or you will learn for your professional life. So the third aspect of the Saturn is falling on your 8th house. The skills which you should learn are, you should learn to have good relationship with your in-laws. You should learn to have good financial knowledge about managing other people's money, about insurances, about inheritances law, about astrology also. If you have these skills about astrology, that can also give you great gains in your professional front. And all kind of the 8th house karakas, they'll be fueling your skills at your professional front. So it can also be involved in some taboo topics like crime, mystery, thriller, understanding investigation of any sort. You see, understanding investigation process actually. These skills are the skills which you can possess in your life at your professional front, that they will help you a lot in your profession. Now, the 7th aspect of the Saturn is falling on the 12th house of yours. And the 7th aspect is all about desires Saturn wants you to have. So these are the desires of Saturn. You should have these things of the 12th house, so that your professional front can grow into a better thing. So this Saturn aspecting your 12th house with the 7th aspect shows that you should have balance in your personal life, in your personal physical life with your spouse, and spirituality. This is the first and the foremost thing which you should have, that you are not so much spiritually inclined that you are neglecting the needs of your spouse or your partner, or you should not be so much inclined towards the needs of your partner, the physical attachment, and you are ignoring the spiritualism. So this is something which is important. These are the desired things. Your professional front or your profession should take you away from your motherland. This is also important, that you work in a foreign place or in a foreign land. Now the 10th aspect of the Saturn is falling on the third house of yours. And the 10th aspect is all about organizing, working hard, being disciplined. So the 10th aspect on the third house shows that you have to be disciplined. You have to maintain a disciplined relationship with your younger siblings. It is important. Now if you are fighting with them constantly throughout your childhood and your adulthood, they will come at your inheritance. They would want to snatch everything away from you. This is important. You have to understand it. So you have to work hard on your way of communication. You should be working hard. If you are giving a task of traveling, you should not be thinking that it is boring and traveling is exhausting. So you should work hard diligently. You should work hard and diligently in the spheres of the third house. You should learn the skills of technology very diligently. You should be disciplined at these front. You should organize your trips, your business meetings very well. So this is something important with this Saturn's 10th aspect on the third house. So you should be working towards your third house, towards your younger siblings, in your friends group also. All the efforts in your life should be hardworking. They should not be done with the half heart. This is something important. Whatever task is being given to you, you should do it with utmost dedication and courage and discipline. This is the only success mantra which you can follow to grow your profession better and better. Now, the Saturn's placement in a particular house in your birth chart reveals a lot about your pending karma, because Saturn is the karmesh and your Atma Karak has signed up for doing karma in this birth, right? So the Saturn's aspect is again on the third house. So Saturn wants you to have disciplined efforts in your life. That is why I've told you to be disciplined in whatever things you do, to be disciplined in learning all the skills in your life, to be disciplined in your relationship with your younger siblings, with your friends. So Saturn wants you to have a regular, disciplined outlook towards life. Your efforts should be hardworking and your efforts should be diligently done. You should use your full intelligence in your efforts. Actually, you should only think of doing karma in this birth of yours. Half of the problems of your life will be sorted from that perspective only. If you will think that it is better if I start working today and things will move on with time, things will get better with me doing hard work, you will definitely achieve something good in your life. So this is how this whole position of Saturn in the 6th house is decoded. So let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn in the 7th house of your birth chart. So with Saturn's placement in the 7th house of your birth chart, you will be very much attached to your self-respect. It can also turn into ego if Sun joins the Saturn. But yes, there will be so much value attached to your self-respect. You would really think of your self-respect every time. If you take any decision in your life, it will be dependent on your self-respect. It will revolve around it. They remember the words if someone has hurt them till their grave. They do not forget easily. You will not tell anyone if they have hurt you or if you have felt bad through their actions or through their words. You will become a new person altogether. You will accept that it is not a thing to discuss. If they have a venomous intention against me, so I should not go in and rectify it and find solution to it. Instead, I should become a new person with them. Your in-laws, wherever you go after marriage, and it doesn't matter if you are a male or a female, they will be huge in some way. Either they'll be huge in number, so they'll have more family members, or they'll be huge in terms of money, finance, that you come from a humble background and they are more prosperous and they are more affluent. So this kind of disparity will be there in your in-laws. People with Saturn in the 7th house, they have good compatibility with their spouse. They they tend to balance things out unless or until you are not a Libra rising and having this placement. Till then, everything is fine. You will have that sort of compatibility you'll develop that if you are not getting into a love marriage sort of a setup, so you would develop that over time. Your profession can also be related to a public and masses, and you are giving something to them. Either you are giving them uh, advice, or you are giving them knowledge, or you are giving them some product, you are selling them something. So your public based profession are seen from the Saturn in the 7th house. This Saturn can give you gains directly if you intermingle with people on one-to-one basis. Like if you are a owner of a shop, you should directly talk to your customers. You should have helpers in your shop, but you should directly engage in communication to them, to your customers. That will give you good amount of gains in your life. People with Saturn in the 7th house, they are very good at managing finance or managing money. They can really manage their money very well. They are not miser. People with Saturn, having Saturn in the 7th house, everyone in their family, they think that they are miser. It is not so. They are actually manager. They can manage their money and their finances very well. You will work on your own will. You will have clashes with both your parents, your father and with your mother, and your relationship with them will not be very good. And you would want to work on your will. Like if they are saying that you should do UPSC or you should become a doctor, you will say definitely to them that I do not have any interest in these professions, and I will choose a profession on my own. You should not relate yourself too much with your relatives. That thing can be a bit risky, because Saturn here can give you bad results if you are too much thinking about your relatives, about your, like, the traditional ways of doing things, and not working on your will. You should not think about them too much. I think you should not have connection with them also. The lesser you will be intermingling with your relatives, your fathers as well as your mothers, you will be more peaceful in your life, and you will be more successful in your life. You can also give instant solutions to problems. If there is a problem, huge or small, you will instantly get on a solution and you will share it with everyone, and yes, that will also work. So this is really a magical power you all have. The Saturn in the 7th house can also give tendencies of self destruction at some point in your life, because the Saturn here wants to do so many things that it cannot achieve. Like, because the Saturn is Digbali. In the 6th house also it was Digbali, and the 7th house also it is Digbali, but the Saturn here is very comfortable. Now it will depend on the sign. If it is in a debilitated sign, if it is in Aries, you are a Libra rising, then it can give you self-destructive tendencies, and some other planets, majorly Sun, should be there to control this Saturn. The Saturn will also give you interesting type of ability to eat everything, whether it is your favorite or not. You will eat everything whatever is cooked at your home. People having Saturn in the 7th house, they would not want to get into social life or into foreign cultures, and this is still the fact the Saturn is direct. Now, if the Saturn gets retrograde, the results would differ. In a normal way, they don't want to attach themselves too much with the foreign cultures. They don't want to attach themselves too much with social life of any kind, whether it be friends' life or relatives. They don't want to attach in social life of any kind. Now, let's talk about the techniques of decoding the profession through Saturn, because Saturn is your karmage and Saturn is the karaka of your profession. So it will tell a lot about your profession. So the first and foremost thing which we have to check is the trikon, where the Saturn is placed, and your Saturn is placed in the calm trikon. So the trikon of the Saturn gives nature of your profession. So the calm trikon gives diplomatic, balancing sort of a nature to your profession. You have to be innovative. You have to think out of the box. Your profession should not be common. These things will be present in your profession, and you will have to be very much diplomatic. You should be balancing. You should be empathetic. Your profession can also revolve around sensory pleasures like eating, smelling, hearing. So maybe you can be in a music industry, you can be in perfume industry, or you can also be in eating industries, restaurant or any kind of food chains, or you are talking about them, or about all these things. You are more of a businessman sort of a personality. You are a creative businessman actually. You would want to structurize everything. you are working at the structure of something. So the basic unit is something which is seen from this calm trikon. You can also be in the professions of desires, luxurious things like real estates, or like wedding planners and event manager, or any sort of these professions where pomp and show is important, is shown, and is a prominent trait in your profession. Now let's talk about the aspects of Saturn. So every aspect tells a different story about your profession. So the third aspect of the Saturn is all about the skills you should have or will learn in your profession. So the third aspect of the Saturn is falling on the ninth house. So you will learn how to mentor, how to guide people, how to connect them with philosophy of some kind or with religion of some kind. So these all things will be present, how you will manage their crisis and you will sustain their crisis period. These skills you should have. Like if someone is talking to you in distress, you should have this ability of calming them down. You should have knowledge and you should have wisdom. Wisdom is more important than knowledge or intelligence in your case. So you should have wisdom of every kind in your personality. Now the seventh aspect of Saturn is falling on the first house of yours. So the seventh aspect is all about the desire of the Saturn. Saturn wants you to achieve the first house things so that your profession can be boomed. You can see growth in your profession. So Saturn wants you to be physically fit, to be having a good skincare routine of yourself, to be physically fit, to be mentally fit, to be actively participating in everything, to not lose courage, to actively participate in everything. Saturn wants you to do these things, and if you will do these things, you will boost your career in any way. Now the 10th aspect of the Saturn is falling on the 4th house of your birth chart. So the 10th aspect is all about working hard, diligence, and organizing things. So the Saturn wants you to organize things at your home. Your home space should be decluttered every month or two, and your relationship with your mother should be very much discipline oriented and hardworking. You should be hardworking at your home. You should be more into emotionally organizing things. You should be emotionally empathetic to your family members. You should create an emotional security around them. So these things are wanted out of you, and you should focus on these things so that your profession can get better. Also the Saturn and its placement in the birth chart tells us about a pending karma. So the pending karma of yours in this birth, your Atma Karaka has signed for, is related to your 7th and the 4th house. So there is a connection between both of them. So your marriage relationships, or your relationships, or your marriage and your spouse actually. So basically all your professional front relationships, your business partnerships should either way contribute to your 4th house. So your spouse should maintain a harmonious home life. Your business partnerships should give you prosperity and emotional security and every kind of security actually. And basically you should work in that direction so that your 7th house directly feeds your 4th house, so that your pending karma will be lowered with each passing day. So this is the success mantra which I have told all of you. Also you should do the remedies, the skills about the 9th house, the desired things about the 1st house personality, and becoming more fit, and organizing hard working towards your 4th house, towards your mother, and towards your peace and prosperity. So these things should be taken into consideration by you, and you should be doing these for your career to get better and better with each passing day. So let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn in the 8th house of your horoscope. So with Saturn placed in the 8th house of your birth chart, this Saturn can totally destroy you if you stick to your beliefs, your traditions. You do not think out of the box. If you are stubborn on whatever religion I follow, whatever philosophy I follow is the topmost in the whole world, and it should be followed by everyone. This thinking with this Saturn placed in the 8th house will really pose challenges in your life. So what you have to do is you have to be innovative. You have to be accepting. You should accept opinions of everyone. You should be more towards learning new things, learning new cultures, new traditions, new religion. So these things should be there present in your life. You have intelligence and you are intelligent enough to do several tasks which other people cannot do in this world. So you are intelligent, but that intelligence could go a down road if you align yourself with the negative karakas of the Saturn. So the negative karakas of the Saturn are speaking harshly, shouting on someone, and hurting others through your words. These are the negative karakas of Saturn, and if you possess these, then yes, this Saturn will really give you challenges in your life, and you won't be able to work in the positive direction, in the positive way. So then again challenges will be there. So to mitigate that, what you have to do is you have to speak good, you have to speak calmly, do not shout on anyone. Just maintain that righteousness and that soft pitch speech in your daily life, in your life as a whole. So you have to align yourself with the positive karakas of Saturn, speaking less and speaking to the point and not hurting others with through your words. Because Saturn is karmesh, Saturn is all about our karma we have to perform in this life, and your karmesh is sitting in the 8th house. So you should constantly involve in researching something or learning astrology, or you should be involved in scientifically analyzing something which is a taboo. Maybe reading articles about aliens, or universal truths which are not very easily talked about in the society. Or you learn something related to occult mysticism, tarot, astrology. All these things should be there in your life, and you should do these things. Or watching mystery thriller movies or novels, investigation oriented novels, all these things you should do, so that you perform the karma of 8th house, which can make your life easier. Business for these individuals will not be well suited. I would suggest all of you to get a job and work hard in that, so that you can get good promotions, success, and all the things which you can achieve will be through job or a regular attachment to some organization, either government or private. So there should be a constant workplace where you go constantly daily. You have a particular time set, like you are entering the office building at 10 a.m. and you are leaving it at 5 p.m. So these things should be there in your job profile. Business settings would not suit you very much with the Saturn in the 8th house. Also, if you shed your stubbornness, that whatever I think is the last word and whatever I think is the best option in the world, I am stubborn on my beliefs, and if you will leave all these things, if you will shed your traditional stubborn beliefs, what will happen is you can also get unexpected gains. Yes, this Saturn in the 8th house can also give you certain lotteries, if I have to say in that way. And it will only be possible if you are welcoming for all the people in the world, for all the opinions in the world. Actually, you should listen it, you should debate on it. I'm not denying that you should not debate on it, and you should not question everything around you. But the fact is that you don't have to stick, you don't have to stagnate yourself at a particular house, which is something important. Saturn is in the house of longevity. 8th house is also longevity. It is the life, it is the long life we live. And if Saturn is placed there, yes, you will get longevity, a good longevity. So yes, you will be bestowed with long life. Now, what will be the quality of this long life? You see, there are people who are working at the age of 90. They are calmly walking, they are calmly doing their daily routine, their daily tasks. But there are again a set of people who are alive, but they are bedridden till the age of 90 years, or 95. So the quality of life, where it goes into different paths. This is true that these are the people who are not doing good in their advanced ages, were more stubborn. They aligned themselves with the negative karakas of the Saturn, shouting, harshly telling something to anyone, and not having good relations with anyone. Or they are in so much intoxication that they are addicted to alcohol, or they are addicted to any kind of substance abuse. These are the negative karakas of Saturn, and if you align yourself with them, then yes, you will be bestowed with long life, but it won't be a good one. The quality of the life will be compromised. So it is better, if you have this placement of Saturn in the 8th house, align yourself with the positive karakas of Saturn. Be disciplined, be organized, be direct and straightforward in your speech. Do not beat around the bush, do not harshly speak, do not shout on anyone, especially your family members. And if you do so, then this Saturn in the 8th house will bestow you with long life and a very good, nourishing, nurturing, good life, long life in this birth of yours. So this is something important you should understand. Now let's move on to the techniques of Saturn. How the Saturn placed in a certain house, in a certain trikon, will decode the profession of someone. So because Saturn is the Karmesh and it is also the Karaka of a profession, so we can decode many things about a profession through its placement. So the first and the foremost thing which we see is the placement of Saturn in a particular trikon, in which trikon it is sitting. So your Saturn is placed in the Moksha trikon. The Moksha trikon is it comprises of 4th, 8th and 12th house. So your Saturn is in the 8th house, so it is in the Moksha trikon. Now this Saturn sitting in a particular trikon will give a particular kind of a nature to your profession. Your profession will be constantly transformed, or you would be engaged in a shadow work, that whatever work you do, the things will happen, but people won't know who is working behind those things. Your profession is something which comes in the end, or you are working in a distant isolated places, or there would be this kind of a profession where you cannot take credit of something you do, like of the anonymous soldiers in our research and analysis wing. The other thing which we can see with the Saturn is the aspects. All the aspects of the Saturn, they give us different kind of view into your personal profession. So the third aspect of Saturn is all about the skills you should have, or you should possess, or you will possess in your professional front. So the third aspect of the Saturn will be on the 10th house in your case. So the 10th house skills are maintaining the public dignity, first of all, organizing and working hard. So there will be profession where you will be needed to work hard, you will be needed to organize, you will be needed to diligently work. One mistake of yours can cause a great catastrophe. That thing will be seen. Also the Saturn 7th aspect is on your 2nd house. So the 7th aspect is all about the desires. The Saturn wants you to complete so that your profession could be boosted. You should have a good face, you should have a good speech, as I've already told you. You should have a good bond with your relatives in your family, you see your family members, and you should also have good savings. Now if you are earning a particular amount in your job per month, you should save 10% every month, so that your 2nd house could grow and grow. And when your 2nd house will grow, your bank account and your bank balance will grow, and your hoarded wealth will be increased. The Saturn will automatically give you unexpected gains. So Saturn desires you to save money, to have a good face, to have a sweet speech, and to have good relations with your family members. Now the Saturn's 10th aspect will be on the 5th house in your case. Now the 10th aspect is all about organizing, hardworking, diligently working towards something. So what you have to do is, with this 10th aspect, you are destined and you should work towards your 5th house, towards, like if you enroll yourself in a bachelor's degree, you should diligently study in it. You should educate yourself, and 5th house is very necessary. You should take a bachelor's degree. You should go to college sometime in your life. It is very important for your gains. You should hard work with your children. You should always be present for them. You should always be helping them out. You cannot make that distant relationship with them with the Saturn in the 8th house. Your love interest and your creativity should also be diligently followed. You should help them out. You see, whenever they want you, whatever the outcome may be, you guys break up after 1 year or 2 year or 7-year relationship, that does not matter at all. The things are the karma you initiated, and the karma, the efforts you will put in that particular relation will be counted. This is something which you should always remember. So if you are not putting your good efforts in that creativity and in that particular love interest, then the Saturn will make you suffer. So this is important with this placement of Saturn in the 8th house. Be loyal, be ready to do creativity, and you should do something like either painting or singing or anything, writing or playing a musical instrument. There should be some creativity in your life which you should constantly do. So this is how you will see this placement of Saturn in the 8th house. Also, the Saturn suggests us about the pending karma we have taken birth for, and our Atmakaraka has signed for doing this pending karma, right? Because Saturn is the slowest planet in the planetary cabinet. It moves slowly. So all the pending karma are attached directly to it. So the pending karma for you to help your love interest or the people you are romantically engaged with in their times of crisis. This will be the greatest karma which you can perform. Or you help your children in the times of crisis, or you help the creative endeavors in your life, or you completely dissolve something and you completely rebuild something creatively. These all things should be present, and these are actually your pending karma. So let's say if you were with someone and you broke up with them and then you meet again, if your Saturn is retrograde in your chart, these things will happen. So if you meet them again after a long period of time, let's say 2, 5, 6, 7 years, and you see that they are in the times of crisis, despite what they have done to you, you should help them. This is important. You see, this will be the event when your Saturn will judge you. So this is something important which you should do to lower this pending karma. So what will be the success mantra with this Saturn for the profession? All the things which I have told from the point of perspective. You have to build that 10th house skills of organizing something, of diligently working towards everything in your life, of hard working, of making that public dignity, to not walk out of your home without ironing your clothes. This is something very important. And the 7th house desires, you should be having a good faith, you should be having a sweet voice, you should be good with your family members, with your relatives, you should have good bond with them. And the 10th aspect on the 5th house, the creativity, the love interest and the children, you should be doing hard work with all of them. So these are the things which you can actually do to boost your profession. These are the success mantra which I have shared with you all. So this is how we decode the placement of Saturn placed in the 8th house of your horoscope. Let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn in the 9th house. So when you'll have Saturn in the 9th house of your horoscope, this Saturn will give you certain kind of strained relationship with father. Either you will not align with their thinking, or you will think their decisions were wrong, or they were not correct with in their actions with us as children, or there will be something strained. Your relationship with your father will be strained in any way. Also, with the Saturn in the 9th house, you will always question your father's deeds, your tradition, your beliefs, that were they right or not. All these things you will always question. What is my religion? Is my religion good? Is my religion bad? Or why is this happening? Why is this particular thing happening in my religion? All these things will be present in your personality with this Saturn. With this Saturn in the 9th house, all of you have a strong willpower. You say that I can do it. Kind of spirit is very high in all of you with this Saturn, because Saturn gives you willpower and you do actions based on that willpower. And that willpower actually is the going force in your life. Maybe if things are not happening the correct way they should be, maybe if everything is torn out and everything is disturbed, but still you'll be going. Why? Because of this willpower. You should always look towards working harder and harder. Because with this Saturn, if you will try to substitute your hard work with anything else in your life, then the Saturn will pose challenges in your life. So you should not think that I have to work so much hard. It is good if you are working hard. It is really the best thing which you can do with this placement of Saturn. So working hard is not an option, it is a duty with this Saturn placement in your birth chart. Also, you will see that there are regular disturbances, there are regular events or some circumstances which are being built, or there are some things which are happening which are directly impacting your savings or your incoming wealth basically. And those disturbances in your life it impacts hugely, and they can also create a gap within your money aspect. But the thing is that because of your willpower and because of you working harder and harder, these things will be negated, these things will be mitigated. So it is important for you to work hard again. Also, with this Saturn in the ninth house, I should tell all of you that you should start your business. You should start business of yourself in whatever skills you have, or whatever knowledge you have of whatever thing you do in your life. Let's say if you are a teacher and you are having expertise on a particular subject, you should definitely start your tuition classes so that they can grow and grow, and yes, it will fetch you immense gains. So you should look forward towards independently working and earning your money. This is important. Now, if this Saturn is not damaged with any other aspect or with any other conjunction, or if it is not debilitated in the ninth house, then the Saturn promises a good higher education. You will get into good higher education and you will achieve it. It can be only till masters or till PhD also. So you can get into that research oriented degrees also. But higher education is definite with this case if Saturn is not damaged from any side. Social circle will be wide, it will be vast actually. You will have so many people in your social circle. You will regularly meet so many people on daily basis. But the thing is that you should not engage any friend of yours into your business or things related to your personal life and personal income or wealth, because then challenges can be faced by you. Because this Saturn in the ninth house, it creates that kind of you know risk from your friend's side, because with this placement you can also uh, once in your lifetime will face a betrayal from your close friend. So it is important for you to stay alert every time with this placement. You should not involve yourself in any wrongdoings. You see, from getting your things done through the back door or that sort of personality you should not have. You should not get into any wrong deeds, because then this Saturn will engulf you with sorrow and grief. So this is important, and you should understand this, that you should always walk on the righteous path in your life. Whatever the circumstances are, whatever amount of hard work you have to do, but you have to walk on the righteous path. With siblings also, you will feel somewhere that your relationship with them is either lacking, your relationship with your father might be distorted, your relationship with your siblings are distorted. So basically, you are alone in this world, and when you are alone, there is no one to give you advice. So with the Saturn, these things also it comes along, that either you will not have anyone to advise you, or you will not take advice of anyone. Maybe you are so much strong head, and you are stubborn on your beliefs, that you are not taking their advice. So basically the thing is that you have to work on your own. You have to think yourself, you have to advise yourself. So it is better to walk on the righteous path, because then when you'll face dilemma and you opt for the wrong path, then things can go wrong in your life. Also, it is a very important with the Saturn in the ninth house that you should not engage yourself in power play when you get success. This is important. So whenever you are successful in your life, you have to stay humble, calm, patient, and resilient. You do not have to show ego, or you don't have to show off things to the world, because then the Saturn will not take this action of yours into good accounts, and then it will be activated in the wrong way. Now let's jump on to the techniques of Saturn with respect to the profession. Why? Because Saturn is the karaka of profession, it is karmesh, and the placement of Saturn tells us immensely about our profession. So Saturn is placed in the ninth house, and its third aspect is on the 11th house. That is why I have told you that you will have a huge social circle. Why? Because these are your skills. You should build a good large social circle. That is important for your incoming gains, for your profession to boost. But that social circle, you should create a boundary between you and that social circle, so that they do not cross that thin blue line and they can do wrong to you. So this is important with this Saturn in the ninth house. So skills will be all about the 11th house, thinking out of the box, making a huge social circle, or all the 11th house things, having good relationships with your elder siblings as well. If you'll work on them, they will boost your profession. Now the seventh aspect of the Saturn is falling on the third house in your case. So the third aspect is all about desires. Saturn wants you to achieve these things. These are the desires of Saturn. So Saturn wants you to travel. If you are not into that kind of profession where you have to travel constantly from one place to another, short trips basically. Short distance trips can also be seen, or short trips by duration, like you have to stay only 2 to 3 days at a certain place, can also be seen. If you are not doing this thing in your profession, you will not see tremendous growth in your professional side. So it is important for you to attach yourself some way to traveling. The other thing will be Mercurian aptitude. You have to develop that. You should have business acumen. You should have colleagues. They trust you. This is important. You should have friends at your workplace. They trust you. They should trust you. And you should have business acumen also. And your way of communication should be different from what it is at home. So this is something which you should work upon. Your speech, your way of communication, all these things should be look into consideration. Now the 10th aspect of the Saturn is falling on the 6th house in your case. So the 10th aspect is all about organizing, hard working, diligently working in those areas. Basically you have to show your hard work in your daily routine. So you should just be consistently and diligently following your daily routine. Your daily routine should not comprise of that you wake up and you have a breakfast of which was made by your house help, and you have it and you go on your work. This should not be the case. You should prioritize working at home also. Either you should water the plants, or you should clean, or you should help the house help in some way. There should be something attached to your home as well. So your daily routine should be hardworking. This is the placement actually which wants you to work hard so much that as you fell on the bed, you fell asleep. So this is something which is important with this Saturn. Your daily routines should be organized. It should not be like I will wake up at this thing and then I'll do these things. No. For every activity, time should be fixed with this Saturn in the 9th house. If you'll do these things, you will rise in your professional front. This is something important. Now the other thing which we can also see from this Saturn is about the pending karma. Why? Because Saturn is karmish, and Saturn tells us the things which we have to do, as with the karma we have to perform, the karma for which our Atmakaraka has signed. Now the Saturn in the 9th house and its 10th aspect is on the 6th house. So also with this 10th aspect, your loans and your debts should be very much organized. This is something also which I wanted to tell you all. So with this Saturn and the pending karma thing, actually the pending karma is to establish a philosophy of consistently working in daily routines. Like you have to establish a different kind of hard working daily routine so that people could learn it from. This is your pending karma in this life actually. You should stick to your timetable first of all, and you should work so much hard that people could make you role models in this sphere of their life. So this is something which you should do, and if you'll do this, your pending karma will be negated and your soul will be, it will feel fulfilled in your life. You'll not notice what has changed, but actually it will help you a lot, this technique. So all the things which I have told you in the aspect perspective and with this pending karma, if you'll do these things, if you'll make the skills of the 11th house, if you'll bring the changes of the 3rd house which are desired by your Saturn, and if you'll work diligently towards your 6th house, your success is definite. So these are all the success mantra which I have shared with you all. So this is how we decode the placement of Saturn in the 9th house of your horoscope. Let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn in the 10th house. Now if you have the Saturn placed in the 10th house of your birth chart, the first and the foremost thing which you will see with this placement is there could be distance from your parents in your childhood. Maybe they both were working so that you have to live alone in your life, or they went working abroad so you had to spend your life with your grandparents. So there would be that kind of distant relationship with your parents in the childhood with this Saturn. Your companionship in your life will define your life actually. What kind of job profile you go into, what kind of qualities you imbibe, what kind of preferences you have, because you had distant relationship with your parents. So what you did is, when you grew up, you started getting out of the home environment. You spend most of your time outside of your house. So that is why the qualities of your friends, but the things you imbibe in your personality, they should not get into wrong direction. They should not get into wrong companionship actually in their childhood, because that companionship will shape their life, and if they get into that companionship, they will get onto wrong path in their life. So it is very important for the people who have Saturn in the 10th house of their horoscope, that they always have good companionship, and they constantly scrutinize it, your companionship. Or if you are seeing this video and you know that someone has this kind of Saturn, or someone's children or your children have this placement of Saturn in the 10th house, you should scrutinize their companionship very early on in their life, because that is the major thing which can either make them or destroy them. You will always get all the opportunities related to your career, whether it is studying abroad or studying in your home in the top institutes. You will get success with this Saturn, it is sure. Why? Because Saturn is in its own home in the Karpurusha's Kundali. Sign of Capricorn falls here in the 10th house, so it is the original Saturn's home. So all the opportunities you will get in your life, and you will do very good in your career front. This is something which is sure, which is definite. So I have seen people with the Saturn in the 10th house at great careers, and like they were IS officers and they still were moving towards better. So the thing with the Saturn is that if you stick to your right path, your righteousness, you will grow immensely in your life, and there is no stopping with this Saturn in the 10th house. And if you align yourself with the wrong doings in your chart, you will not be stopped, and you will grow in that side also too. Why? Because see, karma can be of any type. Either it can be negative or it can be positive. Whatever karma you will do, you will have immense rise in it. So that is something definite. You will see that in general, people around you, like your relatives, your colleagues, your office workers with you, they would want to put you down. Why? Because they're jealous of your immense success. You are unstoppable, you are invincible. So that is why they would want to put you down, and you have to be alert in that case. You can get a good spouse if you will clear them all the things before marriage, that I am working in this kind of profession, and these are my working hours. I won't be able to, whatever the truth is actually to your profession, positive or negative, you have to tell it to your spouse. You have to clear all the things to your spouse before getting married, and then your spouse will support you after getting married. So this is really a good position of Saturn in the 10th house. Also, there could be some ups and downs in the marriage with this Saturn, because its 10th aspect is falling on the 7th house, but the divorce kind of a thing won't happen. There won't be any serious issues in your married life. The only thing which you will see is that both are not able to manage your time, or you are not able to spend more time with each other. Maybe you are working in different cities. That sort of situations will arise, but not any serious kind of situation will be there, unless or until your Saturn is not damaged in this 10th house, or your 7th house is not damaged in any way. So let's now jump on to the Saturn's techniques about profession, because Saturn is the Karaka of profession and Saturn is Karmesh. So it tells us about our profession. It is sitting in the earth trikon. So the nature of your profession will be very much attached to kind of stability, mechanical work. Either you will be engineer actually. The earth trikon suggests this, and you will be technologically dealing with something calculative. You can also be accountant with some technological specifications. So basically Mercurian energy is extremely present in this record. So You will feel that you have a stable job, you have a practical kind of job which gives practical solutions to everyone. It is necessary in the world to sustain, and the nature of your job will be more technical and will be more technology oriented with the Saturn and the Earth trikona. Now let's jump onto the aspects of the Saturn. So each aspect of the Saturn tells us a different story about your profession. So the third aspect of Saturn is falling on the 12th house in your case. So the third aspect of the Saturn is all about the skills you will possess, or you should possess in your profession. So the 12th house skills are: you working in isolation, or you working in foreign lands, so you working in shadowy work kind of a situation, kind of a setting, you working for spirituality. Also, the planets placed in the 12th house will give a different dynamics to this skill point of view, but the 12th house skills will be present in your profession. So basically your efforts towards professional life will be felt in the foreign lands. Either you are working in the foreign land, or you are working for the foreign land or a foreign company. This can also be seen with this placement of Saturn. You can also be working for charitable institutions also, because those are also seen from the 12th house. Now the seventh aspect of Saturn will be on the fourth house of your horoscope. So the fourth house themes are desired by Saturns in order to achieve definite goals in your professional front. So the seventh house themes are your mother. You should have a good relationship with your mother. Whatever she did in your childhood, however she treated you, she was busy, she did not have time for you in your childhood, then too you should have a good relationship with your mother. You should be more nurturing oriented. You should create a safe security around your home. You should work for your homeland. You should work for your home and the family members. You should work for your mother. You should work for your emotional security, for your prosperity. You can also be in a profession that is constantly related to transportation. That can also be seen with the Saturn in the 10th house of your horoscope. Now the 10th aspect of the Saturn will be on the 7th house. So the 10th aspect is all about organizing, diligently working, hard working. So this aspect suggests that you're destined to work hard with your spouse in your business relations. Diplomacy skills: you should be organizing your diplomacy skills. You should be working hard with your spouse. If they are ill or if they want something out of you, you should definitely work for them, and you should be present for them. And you should be diligently working towards your 7th house, building relations, building business relations. This is important. Also, this Saturn's placement defines the pending karma you are here to complete in this birth. Your Atma Karaka has signed for, and the pending karma for your life is that you should get a stable career, a stable, diligently hardworking career. You have to make that career blossoming. Why? To protect your 7th house. You have to work towards your spouse. You should not ask them to, if they are not working, you should not pressurize them to work. This is something which will badly affect your Saturn. You should always try to make them happy. This thing is very important in your life. You should work towards your spouse. Your 7th house is very important in your life. And all the techniques which I have shared with you regarding the skills and regarding this lowering the pending karma thing are actually the success mantra which you should follow for getting a boost in your professional front. So this is how you decode the placement of Saturn in the 10th house. Let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn in the 11th house of your horoscope. So when you have the Saturn in the 11th house of your horoscope, family would have constantly seen ups and downs in your childhood. So you must have heard from your ancestors that we used to had these many things and those many things, but now we are not having those because of certain circumstances which arose. Also, you should give priority to your karma, and your karma will only give you prosperity. So if you will depend on your luck, that will not give you prosperity. So with 11th house Saturn, it is important that you constantly do hard work, that you constantly do karma, that you diligently work on whatever thing you are doing, whatever career you are in, whatever education you are taking, so that you can unlock your prosperity. Because with this Saturn, prosperity is definite. You should learn some skill or some technology, and you should always complete your education with this Saturn, and you will complete your education actually, because Saturn directly aspects your 5th house, and you will complete your education on time. You will gain some technological skills or some kind of skills, and if you will do your work diligently, then in that particular skill which you have learned, which you have taken degree of, will get you immense amount of work in your professional life. You will be overburdened so much that you would be starting to say no to people, that I cannot do this because I'm overburdened with clients. Your personal and your professional life will be mixed. Like if you will do something wrong in your personal life, it will impact your professional life as well. And if you will do something wrong in your professional life, it will impact your personal life as well. That let's say if you get into a relationship and it did not work well, and now you are depressed, it will hugely impact your studies or your work. If you were hoping for a promotion at your workplace and you did not get that promotion, it will then impact your home life with your spouse or with your children. So this is a kind of a mix which you will see with the Saturn in the 11th house, that it will be impacting both your professional and your personal life at the same time. So you will have to balance both your personal and professional life. A remedy for this can only be this. So you have to balance both your professional life and your personal life separately. You have to balance them both. Whatever happens in your home, you should just limit it to your home only, and whatever happen at your professional front, you should limit it to there only, so you can balance it out. Your identity will be twofold. Like there will be a bunch of people, a bunch of friends who will know you that you are a very kind hearted, caring person, and there would be bunch of people, especially relatives from your family. They will think that you are very rude and you talk rudely, you are not having good values. But the thing is that you were rebuking, you were chiding those relatives because they were talking rubbish about something, about your family, about your parents. That is why you are having that kind of a nature with them. So the thing is that you are straightforward in whatever thing you say. Like if someone is good, you will say on the face of them, and if they are not, you will say on the face of them too. That is why you get a twofold kind of a personality. Some people who are good with you will think that you are a good person. Some people who are bad with you, and you will react back badly to them, and they will think that you are a bad person. Especially with this Saturn in the 11th house, let me tell you all this thing, that your past about your relationships or your love interest you had, or whatever relationships you have been through, you should clear it out with your partner. Because with Saturn in the 11th house, because the 11th house is the original house of Aquarius, and it also governs Rahuian energy. So your past, people from your past will come back to you again and again. And if you will not clear your spouse or the person you are getting married to in advance about all these things, then these things can pose challenge in your life. Also with your career, there are two major things which you will see, that your career can involve intelligence, your career can involve wisdom, your career can involve health also, your vitality, that you are in a sports related career, or you are in a health related career, or you are in a intelligence related career. But what you will not see is that you have to take a huge amount of money in your career. You have to sit with a huge amount of money in your career, then that will be established. That thing will not be seen with the Saturn in the 11th house. So all the careers which require huge amount of wealth to be invested in starting, those are not for you. This is something which you should always take into consideration. Also with the Saturn in the 11th house, you are habitual of hiding your cleverness. You will hide your cleverness, and you will innocently portray yourself in front of others, and they will think you are innocent, but you are not. And this is a very good quality of all the people having this placement. Also with this Saturn, you are more anxious about your future settlement. So you often fall in love with the fact that you want to secure your future actually. So if you think that I fall in love with the right person at the right moment, my life after marriage will be fixed. So this is something which you will see with this placement of Saturn. But this doesn't mean that you are money minded always, and you do not work in relationships, and you are not emotionally involved in relationships. This is not so. But you think that it is better, if we have to fall in love, then to fall in love with the people who have money. So that, because money is the problem, all the problem arises with the money, and all the problem ends with it. You have this kind of thinking, and you think that if I fall in love with the right person, with the correct person, these problems will be mitigated in my life. Now let's jump onto the Saturn's techniques, because Saturn is also the karaka of a profession, and it is also a karmesh, and Saturn can give us in-depth details about a profession. So the first and foremost thing which you have to see with the Saturn is that it is placed in Kam Trikon. So the trikon system, it gives nature to your profession. So your profession can be involved around diplomatic natures, or balancing out systems, or innovatively inventing something, innovatively doing something out of the box. That sort of professions will be seen from this placement. It can also involve handling large group of people with the Saturn. The nature of your profession can also be this. It can also involve negotiating something, diplomatically negotiating something, and building business relations, or helping people to build relations. That sort of nature will be there. Basically, you will either be in an isolated place inventing something, isolating yourself, and thinking out of the box, or you will be there out in the public and making public deals. You will be talking to them, and you will be helping them out in some way. Either you are selling some product, or you are selling something so that they can be helped. So this is the major nature of a profession. The next thing which we have to see is the Saturn's aspect. All of the three aspects of Saturn are different, because each of them tells a different story to us. So the Saturn's aspects are actually seen in this way, that the third aspect of the Saturn will be forming on your first house. So the third aspect is all about the skills you should have. So the skills related to your career are vitality, health. You should focus on your health. You should focus on your personality. You should groom your personality well. You should be speaking good language, and you should be basically portraying yourself in a good manner. This is very important. Wear good clothes, and you should be looking good in all the presentations you appear. This is important. So all the first house things, you have to learn all the first house things. How to build relationship with anyone, how to be empathetic with someone, how to understand the emotions and personality of someone. These are important in your life if you want to boost your career. Why is it important? Maybe at some point in your life, you will have a group of colleagues, and one among them, among blindly trusted colleagues of yours, is cheating you. So you should have that skill of the first house of judging the personality. The other aspect of the Saturn, the seventh aspect, is falling on the fifth house. The seventh aspect is all about desires. The Saturn wants you to have these things of so that your profession can be boosted. So the Saturn's desires in your birth is about the fifth house, about you getting into good relationships, good romantic relationships, who can help you in your career. Now, it does not mean that they are making you study harder, they are scrutinizing your job interviews, or this is not so. Even if they are motivating you to do something, that is also enough. You should be creatively involved in your profession. You should creatively think about your profession or your professional blocks. If you are having a block at some point, you should creatively think solutions to it. You should also work hard towards your children. This is very important. If you have got a good job, and if you are married, and if you have children, you should have a good bond with them. Actually, they should not feel abandoned because you are a working woman or you are a working father. They should not feel abandoned with this placement of your Saturn in the 11th house. Also, this bond will be specifically depending on your first child, because 5th house is the first child. So you should not let him or her think that they are being abandoned by you. So these are the desired things the Saturn wants you to have. Also, the technical skills. Saturn wants you to learn some technical skills, which I have told you, so that you can get better in your career. So this is how you will see this 7th aspect. The 10th aspect of the Saturn is falling on your 8th house. Now, what is this 8th house? Now, the Saturn is asking you to work diligently and work hard and organize the 8th house. The 10th aspect is all about organizing, working hard, and diligently working towards it. So, the 8th house topics like in-laws. First of all, if you have in-laws, or whenever you get married, you should understand this thing, that if they are ill, you have to work hard towards them. You have to work hard towards having that good bond with your in-laws, which is not common in our country, in our tradition, right? You should have that good bond with them. Also, you should try to have good bond with them, but it will also depend on the 8th house of yours. How will they be and how will they perform? This also depends on them. The second thing is, that you should organize your shared resources with your spouse. So if you have any joint account or joint asset with your spouse, you should keenly observe it and keenly organize it. It is very important. And you should work hard towards learning astrology, learning occult or mysticism, or learning artificial technology also. Or if you are into certain kind of a profession, like you, if you are in a certain kind of innovative scientific research oriented profession, you should work hard in that area, so that your profession can be boosted with Saturn's 10th aspect. So this is how you study all the aspects of the Saturn. The next thing with the Saturn is that Saturn also tells us the pending karma, which for which we are here on this earth, and for which our Atma Karaka has signed for. Whatever your Atma Karaka is, it doesn't matter, but it is here to perform certain tasks, and the task and the karma are seen from the Saturn. So you are here to perform diligently or think out of the box for the taboo topics actually. Even if, even if you are learning astrology, you don't want to become an astrologer, you should think of new perspectives in astrology. You should give it to the public, so that people can know it. You have to work diligently towards your 8th house. This is how you will be lowering your pending karma. It is necessary. Or if you are into 8th house profession, then working towards it will be automatically lowering your pending karma. So this is how you will check these things. And whatever I have told about this aspects part and about the pending karma part is actually, these all are the success mantra which you should follow for boosting your professional front, for boosting your career. So this is important for this Saturn, and this is how you decode the placement of Saturn in the 11th house of your horoscope. So let's move forward and let's understand the placement of Saturn in the 12th house. Now when you have this Saturn placed in the 12th house of your horoscope, first and the foremost thing with the Saturn is that you are prone to injuries. But your vitality or your health will not be affected with this injury. So maybe you will feel with the Saturn that my bone is aching, or I had this injury several years ago and now this part of my body is aching. But that would not stop you from working hard and hard. This is something important with the Saturn. This is actually paradox. You will feel that you should rest and you should take care of your health, but actually your health is not affected and you should get going. Relatives from the mother's side or from the father's side, they will be very much involved in your life. They would want to know about what you are doing and what you are not doing, what are your failures. They would want to mock them. And you will also feel that they are so much involved and they are so much interfering in your life that you are getting problems out of it. But the fact is, it is always you who can decide how much they can get into your life. Now if you will create a safe boundary around yourself, around your family, they won't cross it, they won't enter that boundary. That is something which you have to understand. So if you are constantly facing problems from the sides of relatives, that they are so much interfering in your personal life or in your family life, so what you can do is you can create a safe boundary so that they could not enter that safe environment of yours. There will be struggle in your life around the young ages, like if you were till 35 years of your age or 36 years of your age, till your Saturn doesn't mature, you will feel that there were immense struggles in my life. But post 36 years of your age, when the Saturn will mature, you will feel that my life has become more prosperous and it has eased out. And you will feel this thing that even if your Saturn's Mahadasha is going on and you have the Saturn in 12th house, you have entered the age of post 36 years of your life. These are the best years one can have, because they have done the struggle in their young life, and that struggles will be rewarded in the middle ages. So this is really a beautiful period for anyone to have. You should never abandon or leave your home which you have purchased. This is very important with this Saturn, because the moment you step out from that particular home, the prosperity in that home will be vanished. You won't be able to think how it happened, but that surely will be there. So if you buy some property at your name, at your personal name, with this placement, you have to sell it. Otherwise, it won't be able to sustain and it will be sold off. There will be less children in your life. So you will feel you will either have one children. Why? Because you are so much drawn into the responsibilities of raising a child. That thing is very important to you. So you would want only a single child, so that you can raise them, You can raise him or her well, and you would not want to have so many children. You love your isolated company. You would want to go on alone walks. If you visit some place with your family, you would want to go on a walk alone. You love your own company, your isolated company. You won't be depressed when you are left alone. With this placement of Saturn, people want to work out of their home, and this should also be done actually, because if you start working from your home, it will create so much challenges. You should step out your home, you should get out of your home, and you should work hard there, and then you will see that prosperity is coming in and luxury is coming in. And if you will work from your home, then problems can be faced by you. You can also do good in-depth research on any topic. You can also investigate any topic very well. You can be a well-researched person on any subject if you are given that task. So it is really a blessing from the Saturn in your case. You will be able to find loopholes very easily in all the things, the projects which have been given to you. And you are the person who constantly change their nature, a personal way of talking to people. Like the people who think they know you from inside out, they are at a huge loss. Why? Because they do not know a single iota of your personality. You constantly change your personality from person to person. You are someone with some person, and then you are another completely a different person with someone. Also, I've seen people with Saturn in the 12th house that their way of speaking to different people is different. That they would, you see that the way of their speaking and the tone they use, it gets changed people to people. So this is also a fascinating fact for all the people having this placement. This is really a caution for all of you that you should not sign on someone's behalf at any point in your life. Even if your younger sibling or your older sibling asks you to do so, that please sign this note from mother's behalf or from father's behalf, you should not do so. You should not take you should not become guarantor of someone in any loan. You should not take security on someone's behalf, and that can backfire at you very devastatingly. So this is something which you should always take into consideration. Now let's jump onto the techniques about Saturn, because Saturn is a karmesh and Saturn tells us about the profession. So the first and foremost thing which you have to see with the Saturn is the Saturn is placed in the moksha trikon, and the trikon system, it gives a kind of nature to your profession. So the nature of your profession can be you are in certain kind of a job which requires you to work from shadow. You are involved in a shadow work, you are anonymously working, or you are not showing your face. This can also be seen with the Saturn. You are working in something which is the end product. Like let's say if there is a bakery, so some people are involved in the purchasing of ingredients, some people are involved in baking, and some people are involved in packaging the cake, but you are in the delivering unit, because that unit comes in the last. So you will be in the last unit of something, last unit of providing something, of giving out the product. Or you will see that your profession is constantly transforming. Maybe you studied about something else, you are working, or you are in profession of something totally different. So this is also the scene with this Saturn. Now let's talk about the aspects. So the third aspect of the Saturn is falling on the second house of your horoscope. So the third aspect is all about the skills you should have or you should possess in your profession. So the third aspect here tells us that you should have the skills of the second house. Second house skills are maintaining your face, maintaining your speech, having good conversational skills, and having good persona, having good creative skills, because Taurus sign falls there in the second house in a Kalpurusha Kundali. You should have good creative sense, aesthetic sense. These all are the skills which are required by a profession. You should also have good knack of sensory pleasures. You should know which is the best restaurant in my particular city, which provides any particular dessert. This is something which is important. You should be knowledgeable about the history. You should be knowledgeable about the language. You should be having these skills so that your profession could be boosted. The seventh aspect of the Saturn is falling on the sixth house of yours. And the seventh aspect is all about what are the desires of your Saturn. Saturn wants you to achieve these things of the sixth house so that your profession could be boosted. So sixth house things will be that you have good relation with your maternal relatives and your cousins. This is very important thing. The next thing will be that you are good at understanding loans. Saturn wants you to get in a job of your preferred organization or of your preferred profession, and then later on in your middle age you start a business. Saturn wants you to have experience through job. This is very important. Also with the Saturn in the 12th house, Saturn wants you to have a regular, disciplined, consistent daily routine, so that you have dedicated time to everything, every activity in your life. So this is the 7th aspect of the Saturn. Now the 10th aspect of the Saturn is falling on the 9th house of your horoscope. So the 10th aspect is all about working hard, organizing things, and diligently working on those areas so that your profession could be boosted. So what you have to work is, you have to work hard towards learning what your mentor is teaching you. This is very important. Taking guidance from someone. You should follow the steps of your father. This is very important. Whatever your father has taught you since childhood, you should follow that definitely. So these are the themes and these are the areas where you should work. You can also take learning from your religion or from your philosophical traditional beliefs, whatever your society teaches you. So these are the things which are important with this Saturn in the 12th house. Also with this placement of Saturn, we can get to know about a pending karma, because karma is all about Saturn. And why is it pending? Because that is why we have taken the birth again, and that is what our Atmakaraka has signed for. So the pending karma for Saturn could be decoded from the fact that your foreign land attachments should in either way feed your prosperity, your luck, your fortune, you guiding someone, you mentoring someone, or you establishing a philosophy, tradition, or religion of your own. This is your pending karma actually. So let's say if you go abroad, so you are vouching your own tradition there. You are raising the flag of your own tradition actually. This is your pending karma. You should not engage yourself and you should not immerse yourself in the foreign tradition, in the foreign religion. You should advocate your own religion there, and you should teach people, you should propagate your religion in the foreign lands. So this is something about your pending karma which you can do to mitigate it, to lower it. Like maybe if you go abroad and if you settle abroad, you donate some Hindi written books of good writers in the public library wherever you live. This is something which you can do. This is really a good remedy. You should do it to better your Saturn. So this is how we decode the Saturn, and all the techniques I have told through the aspects and through the pending karma thing are actually the success mantra which you should follow to boost your Saturn. So this is how we decode the placement of Saturn in the 12th house of your horoscope. So this was my understanding about Saturn through all the houses in your D1 chart. Do not forget to like this video and share it with your friends and family. And if you want to regularly watch quality content on astrology, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. Thank you.